Hi, Steve. I'm Max. Nice to meet you. Thanks for speaking with me today. Can you tell me a bit about your background and how you came to be chief playmaker at Life is Good?
Wow, man, you asked the best questions, dude. My background, okay. So I grew up, I'm 54 years old right now, and I am married to a wonderful woman, and I have three beautiful children. And I was very fortunate, very privileged to grow up in a household that had a lot of love. Um, but like every household, there's challenges. And I think one of the challenges that I had growing up was that, you know, um, my big brother had some of his own kind of mental health issues, and I saw him suffer a lot, and I saw the challenge of, you know, what happens to people when they don't feel safe, when they don't feel joyful, when they don't feel connected. Um, And then, I just always loved to play. I love sports. I wasn't very good at them, but I still tried and I still played. And I found out that, one of the things that I was good at with sports was not playing the game, but sometimes as I grew older, like playing with other kids and helping to create an environment where they could find joy and connection and feel good about themselves through play. And I ended up doing some counseling work when I got out of school, counseling children, but not by talking with them, but using play and using group games. And then we talk a little bit during that play. But while they were playing, we could address all the issues that they were dealing with. For instance, some kids who had a lot of fear, you could see that in the play because they didn't want to try stuff. Or kids that had a hard time connecting with other kids, you could see it in the play because they couldn't work cooperatively with the team. Um, and so we could help by helping that child to engage successfully in fun stuff. It really helped them. And I was like, okay, this is my lot in life because everyone has something that they can share with the world. Everybody. And this was the one thing I felt like I could share with the world. And then I think I thought a lot about my brother and the suffering that people have. And I said, if I'm going to do this work, I want to do it with people who don't have as many options, who don't have all the privilege that I had. And so I started to really focus on homeless and impoverished children and recognizing that that was the most meaningful thing in my life because of my dad. Um, I think I told your dad, but I lost my father. He passed away about almost a year ago. And he was my role model. He was my inspiration. He's the reason that I got attracted to this work because he would tell me all the time, he said, listen, nobody has control over their birth. We don't know why we're born, but somehow we're here. And then he says, and most people, we don't have much control over our death either. Eventually, someday, like every living thing, we're going to die. And we don't have control over that. But we do have control of making somebody else's journey from birth to death better because we were there to help along the way. And that has always been the secret, that being of service, being helpful to others and allowing others to be helpful to you, and being vulnerable and helping folks who are vulnerable, that message stuck with me. And so I wanted to make a difference in people's lives, but I didn't have a lot of skills to do that. It wasn't like I'm not a doctor or a lawyer who can advocate for groups, or I wasn't a builder who could build homes for people. I wasn't a chef who could feed people, but I was a guy who liked to play and enjoyed playing with children and helping them to enjoy play. And so I figured that would be my contribution to help people. But mostly, Max, I mean, I want to be honest, the person I'm helping the most is myself. Um, and I think that's okay. I think it's okay as long as your need to help yourself doesn't take priority over your desire to help other people. And I think that people who serve others actually get they get as much or more benefit from serving than the people who they serve get from being served. So that's a little bit about my background. Give you a little bit more. I went to UMass Amherst. I grew up in Needham, as I said. I went to UMass Amherst. I was a lousy student, but I did pretty good. I still figured out ways to get some decent grades. And then I went to Boston College to go to the School of Social Work. And that's where I learned a lot about, you know, social work and counseling. And then I had met great people along the way who helped to provide opportunities for me.